Hey, all right, we are live. So, Martin Truex Jr. gets it done in Sonoma. Let's look at the rundown here. Kyle Busch finished the second, but some good pit strategy really is what got him up there. And once he got up there, he was able to stay up there. Joey Logano, the only Penske car that ran well at all today, really. Chris Buescher is fourth, Chase Elliott fifth. Also, a strategy call got Chase Elliott up there. Ended up being a good call because he does get that fifth place finish. AJ Allmendinger, kind of quiet all day, but he was always in the top 10. Michael McDowell, same deal. He was always in the top 10 all day today, too. Kyle Larson is eighth. Christopher Bell is ninth. Ross Chastain, 10th. Didn't even hear about Ross Chastain today, but he ends up with a 10th there. Kevin Harvick, 11th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., probably the best finish I can ever remember him having at any road course here with a 12th place. Ryan Preece, 13th. William Byron, 14th. Alex Bowman, 15th. And Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace, Ty Gibbs, Austin Dillon, and Corey LaJoie round out your top 20. The guy that finished dead last, of course, was Denny Hamlin, and we are waiting on the SMT data from the wall to see if the wall will be suspended for the next race at Sonoma. That is a joke, Denny Hamlin fans. Don't get upset. All right, let's jump into it. Napa Racing fans saying, hallelujah, Fox is all over now. Oh, let me do a chat check real quick. All right, looks like it's working on my end. See if it's working on you guys' end. Let's see. Hallelujah Fox is all over now, except for Trucks. At least they won't have Cup. Hallelujah. Even if Junior screams at cars in the wall, hallelujah, says Napa Racing fan. So, not a fan of the Fox broadcast is Napa Racing fan. I can understand. I'm not a fan of either broadcast though, to be honest. So, marginally better camera work with NBC, I would say. Claude Avila is. I'm asking, is the wall okay? So yeah, looks like the wall might have been shaken up after Denny Hamlin smoked it right there. It broke a toe link. All jokes aside, Denny Hamlin had a really good car early on, and I don't know what happened. If his car was just bad and dirty air, or what was going on, but he looked like he had a monster of a car. But once he didn't have that clean air, it looked like his race just kept going south from there, and eventually, of course. Ended up just not being good. There is a poll question up. What did you think about the race? Don't wake me up from my nap. It was good. It was the best thing ever, or whatever I put in there. And it was bad. I don't know. I put different options. I can't read them right now. Let's see. One wise guy said Truex wasn't even a thought for me. I forgot he won in 18 and 19. Let's go Toyota. Yeah, so he the second most wins there to Jeff Gordon, if I'm not mistaken. With what is that, his third or fourth one? I think Gordon has four and he has three now or something like that. So I might be wrong. I don't know. Talladega Tom, finally, no more Boyer and Mikey at Fox, says Talladega Tom. So that, yeah, Clint Boyer was he was talking. He was classic Boyer today, talking over top of Jamie McMurray every time McMurray was trying to say something. And there was one point early on where each announcer, Mike Joy, Clint Boyer, Jamie McMurray, they all said at least two times apiece that Daniel Suarez ran in the Xfinity Series, and that has an H shifter pattern, and this car has the whatever tap to shift button or whatever the crap that thing is, the whatever it is. They said that like four times or two times a piece, six times overall. They just kept repeating themselves. I'm like, all right, we get it. He drove in the Xfinity Series and it messed him up for the race today. I was like, oh my God, like how many times could they say it repeatedly in the course of like a minute? OJ and Toothpaste ABB, just leaving the track finally. I had pit passes, got my diecast signed by Truex. That's awesome, dude. When he got done with the media center, that's cool as crap, man. Glad glad I'm actually live at the track with you, or as you're just leaving. That's pretty cool. Glad you got your diecast signed too. That's always a good deal. Wise guy saying loud and clear on his end. That's what's up. Talladega Tom says it's working as well. Ben says, yes, Fox is gone. So apparently a lot of people, I didn't realize it was this big of a deal, but a lot of people are rejoicing that Fox is gone. Don't worry, I'm going to troll NBC just as hard as I troll Fox because I think both of them have a lot of room for improvement. When they both first came into the sport, they did such a better job of covering the sport, and now they just it's like a second thought to them. I feel like Fox is like, thank God we can finally show the USFL now because that's all they freaking jabbered about. Let's see, Chrome Diesel, hi BB, how you doing? Doing good, man. Race today was okay, wasn't great, mostly plagued by the car. Happy unprofessional Fox coverage is done. Too many kids in the footage, though. Happy for the NBC stint, or to go to the NBC stint, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, I think a lot of people are stoked about the NBC deal. I do think NBC has better camera work. I feel like the other stuff is sort of tit for tat, though. But I'm a big fan of the camera work, obviously. So I do favor NBC a little bit there for the camera work, which goes to the director. I think the camera people they have are probably all professionals. I thought Eric Jones had a shot at winning, says OJ and Toothpaste. Whatever shot he had at winning, Denny Hamlin snatched it right there at the very end when he decided to just take off there on Earth 2. Of course, on Earth 1, he smoked the absolute mess out of the wall, broke the toe link, damaged the vehicle timer, ran out on him, and he ends up finishing dead last. So whoever had Denny Hamlin finishing dead last, that's a pretty wild thing, because he was your favorite as far as MGM was concerned in Las Vegas. Denny Hamlin was your favorite to win this race. Talladega Tom, Denny makes yet another mistake, cost himself a win or at least a good finish. Yeah, it's hard to say what happened there, because he definitely had the fastest car early on. And like I said, I don't know if the traffic or whatever just wasn't suiting him to how the dirty air was suiting to that car. But when he had clean air, he was looking 2 or 3 seconds faster than everybody, just like Martin Truex Jr. was looking 2 or 3 seconds faster than everybody. But I feel like Denny Hamlin's car was on par too. I feel like Kyle Busch wheeled it as good as he could wheel it to make it look interesting, to try to make Truex nervous. But after about five laps or so, Kyle Busch didn't have anything for him. But I don't know. I don't know what happened to Denny Hamlin after he lost the lead. He just never really was a serious factor after that. One wise guy says the 12, the 18, the 19, and 2023 now. So, yeah, he's got 4. So Gordon must have 5. Stephen D'Amelio Jr., Gordon has 5. Martin has 4. So there you go. I was off a little bit on the numbers. I knew Gordon had 1 more. I think I heard them say that today is the reason I knew that. So Gordon has 5, and Martin Truex Jr. I was about to say Martin Truex Jr. Has 4. So glad Bowman and his car finished worst of the Hendrick cars. Hope he misses the playoffs. Yes, that's a hot button issue right now, but I don't really get into politics. E. Damon, BB and the gang, best race of the season. Looks like NASCAR should just stick with SE and road courses. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they need to space out the road courses. That would probably be the better answer, because you've got all the road courses at one time. Then you've got the one in the playoffs, and it's too many road courses too close to each other, I feel like, is the bigger issue. Let's see. Elliott still not in the chase, says John Mitchell. Yeah, so Chase Elliott did finish 5th. So the vote of him finishing mid-pack, the gang here on the first stream, they thought he was going to finish mid-pack. So he did finish top 10, but he didn't have the car to win the race. That's for sure. Either way, he didn't have the speed to win the race. So one of his big shots at locking into the playoffs definitely down the drain today. So he's going to have to do something at another track. Super Speedways even, says E. Damon Racing. Super Speedways, I got you. Not SC. Super Speedways and road courses. ABC needs to broadcast races again. Says Philip Canavan. Yeah, I don't know. They'd have to get ESPN on board, and there's speculation that ESPN was interested, but it looks like it's going to be Fox and NBC again, with Amazon being the lead to be the streaming partner for all these races going forward. Let's see. Napa Racing Fan saying, not with ESPN. They don't, says Napa Racing Fan. So Napa Racing Fan, not a big fan of ESPN. I like ESPN's coverage of actual sports. It's all the shows ESPN has attached to those sports. They just get too political. They don't talk about sports. They talk more about politics. Let's see. X-Dude says KFB having one of his better seasons so far. That's saying something. Yeah, Kyle Busch is on a roll. He moved up, I think, 1 or 2 positions in points. I can look at the points. I do have them pulled up on my phone. So let's see. We can talk about points because I got them somewhere up in here. Yeah, here we go. Martin Truex Jr. is first in points. William Byron is second. Ryan Blaney falls to third after getting wrecked like 3 times in the last 10 laps. Ross Chastain is fourth. Kevin Harvick is fifth. Kyle Busch sixth. So he moved up to sixth. I think he was like seventh or eighth. Christopher Bell is seventh. Denny Hamlin eighth. Joey Logano ninth. Kyle Larson is 10th. That's regular season points, of course. If you flip it and go to the playoffs, and if you want to see the last in, 16th is Alex Bowman, last man in on points. Daniel Suarez, Ty Gibbs, Michael McDowell, AJ Allmendinger are on the outside looking in. So there you go. There's your points rundown real quick. Bowman has nothing to do with the sponsors paint scheme. That's all I'm saying, says Napa Racing fan. Sad to see such a small crowd, says Talladega Tom. I didn't even, on road courses, I never even pay attention to the crowd because it's just so, I guess it's so much of a background deal, but I don't know. E-Damon Racing, I agree the road courses are too close together. Just those are the only tracks these cars race well on. Just mix it up until they fix the short track issues. And sleepy 1.5 milers. Yeah. So the short track deal, they're just going to have to figure out something. They're going to have to figure out something with the underneath package because they're just going to need a completely different underneath aerodynamic system for short tracks because whatever they've got now is just not working. And that's the main thing, in my opinion, holding them up. Are you going to run a live next Sunday just to hang out, says one wise guy? I don't know. I'll think about it. We'll definitely do the Tuesday one. We'll have to see how it goes, what kind of news breaks and stuff like that. But I might do one. I might do one like a pre-race one. I wouldn't do a nighttime one, but I'll do like a pre-race. If I do one, it'll be like a pre-race one. But we'll play it by ear for right now. My condolences, T-Van, says one wise guy. Did I miss something? Let's see. I missed something. I don't know what happened with T-Van. Chrome Diesel, under full season points. It would have been dramatic after Blaney had fallen from runner-up to third in standings, but still within striking distance. Yeah, I agree. If we had full season points, this would be a story right now. But because it's just who wins to get in, it's not much of a story right now. I say for road courses, move Sonoma to the spring West Coast swing, move Coda to May, maybe keep the Glen where it is. Bring Road America back. I like Road America coming back. 4th of July, add Montreal, return to the Indy and Charlotte ovals. Yeah, I think everybody wants to go to the Indy oval for sure. Charlotte is like a toss-up between fans. It just depends on who you ask. But yeah, I do like Road America coming back for sure, especially on the 4th of July. Why don't you look at the camera when you do these? I don't know. Why don't I look at the camera? Because I'm reading the text. The text is over here. So if I'm looking at the camera, I can't read the text. So that's why I don't look at the camera. Let's see, and replace Chicago streets with Chicagoland. Yeah, I think Chicagoland is getting a big push. What seems to be what's going to get, not necessarily that date, but they're going to get the race that Chicago, because Chicago street race seems to be one and done. The big rumor is that Montreal is going to get that race, not necessarily the same date. But Montreal might get that race. We had a tornado warnings here in Kentucky, and the weatherman was on TV during half the race today. LOL, says Brian Kidder. Yeah, that's always a bad situation when that happens. Bad situation first off because you got weather in the area, and the other bad situation is you can't. Well, you didn't miss much because they run a ton of commercials too. So you probably came back from the weather breaks straight to a commercial. So that was another issue. I got to figure out the short track package on this car because it is still not good. I agree with you, X dude. It's pretty bad. T-Van wrote his mom passed away today. Oh, that's terrible, man. T-Van, you're definitely in our thoughts and prayers, without a doubt. So let's see. All right. Sorry, I had to put that in there real quick. Take off the hole under the body where everything is exposed. Yeah, the thing underneath the body made by Delara, that holds the whole body together. So they can't just take it off. They have to figure out another way to attach it. So that's part of the problem. Let's see. Hello, making left and right turns, says NASCAR guy. Yeah, the left and right turns definitely were something to watch today. A little hard to pass, but I think there was good racing throughout the field. Up front, the leaders kind of just checked out. T-Van, wise guy, yeah, without a doubt, T-Van. I wish you the best, man. That's a terrible situation. I hate that for you. And I'm sorry I missed it up in there earlier. Joshua Thaxton, the race was so exciting. My cardio system would have failed had Fox not mercifully broke up the action every 30 seconds with ads. Yeah, without a doubt. Like that was a very, very commercial heavy race, without question. And then we got some more people wishing you well here in the chat. One wise guy saying one love, brother. Censor DMM saying sorry. Censored MM, I guess, saying sorry. Sorry to hear that, T-Van, says A-Ben. I feel like the Charlotte Roval might not exist anymore after this season, says Chrome Diesel. A lot of people think that, and a lot of people think Bristol Dirt is gone too. So I've heard it both ways on both of those. So you'll never know till, like, I guess NASCAR officially announces something. This was the commercial 350K, says Napa fan. Yeah, there was like just a ton of commercials. And then Stephen Emilio Jr. Also lifting up prayers to you, T-Van, Napa Racing fan as well. I prefer the Charlotte Oval to the Roval. I think the cars race better on the 1.5s. This particular car for sure is better on the 1.5s. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know. I don't want to necessarily abandon the road courses and the short tracks or whatever individually people want to abandon. I think they should just work on those the packages at those tracks. They know they've got a good package for the 1.5s. They need a good package for the other ones. The road course and the short tracks being the same package. The reason I lumped the road courses in there. Let's see. Censor DMM saying sorry, T-Van. We got a good little family here, says one wise guy. Hey, it was on Fox, but I fell asleep. 4 races on Fox this season, says Michael Honeychuck. So that was one good thing. It was on Big Fox. It wasn't on like one of their alternate channels or anything like that. So it was on TV for people that don't have cable or anything like that to see. X-Dude saying condolences to T-Van. Predictions for Nashville, says one wise guy. Well, let's take a look at Nashville. Looking like Kyle Larson is going to be your favorite with an average finish of 2.5 since 2020. In 2 races, he has 1 win and 2 top 5s. Ross Chastain is going to be your next best average finish at 3.5. Kurt Busch, obviously not in the race, but we know Tyler Reddick's in that car. So the Tyler Reddick car at 5.0 average finish in 2 races. Austin Cindric in his 1 race there finished 7th. Kevin Harvick average finish of 7.5. Christopher Bell, 8.5. Joey Logano, 9.5. Eric Almirola, 10.5. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 11th. And Daniel Suarez is 10th, also 11th, tied with Ricky Stenhouse. And then Austin Dillon, 13. And Ryan Newman, 13.0. Ryan Newman, obviously, well, he might be in there for Rick Ware Racing. So there you go. And if you want to look at all-time statistics at Nashville, it's still only 2 races. So those are the exact same if you're looking at all-time statistics, because people that raced at Nashville back in the day obviously still aren't racing now. I was recently watching the 1994 Sonoma race, except they raced on a shorter distance in the carousel, 300K instead of 350K. What was seen today is similar to the past, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, usually one guy figures it out and everybody else is fighting for second. But it's just one of those tracks, and usually there's some random caution that just shakes everything up. Let's see. NASCAR guy says, keep Carson Macedo in your thoughts. Scary crash. Yeah, I think, and I might be misremembering this, but I think he had a crash and they had to help him out of his car, and his car was on fire, if that's the one I'm thinking about. So hopefully he's okay. A-Ben says, this is a bit off topic, but the number 24 Chevy did manage to do the full 24 hours at Le Mans. This weekend, not a bad showing. Just saying, yeah, it was definitely. We actually talked about it on the first one this morning or this afternoon on the live stream. But yeah, everybody was pretty, and for the most part, we did a poll and everything. Everybody was pretty stoked with the performance of the car. Obviously, it wasn't racing any class. It was just out there to see if it could make the distance. And except for the transaxle break in, I think it had a really good race, a really good showing. Jimmy Johnson was the slower of the 2 drivers. Mike Rockenfeller was second slowest. And his name escaped me. But he was the fastest one by about a half second over Rockenfeller. I don't know why his name jumped out of my head. I was just about to say it. Can you imagine how many times Fox would force NASCAR into everything if they had the broadcast next week? Says say Kyle, not Kyle. Not enough, obviously. That's pretty much an awesome word. That's pretty much how they would approach it. So as much as possible. I'm hoping that Mike, Clint, and Kevin will be a better show, says one wise guy. I think Kevin Harvick will at least tone down Clint Boyer to an extent that when Kevin Harvick's talking, Clint Boyer probably won't talk over top of him like he's done some other guests. So I think eventually that'll be the one thing that sort of tapers off Clint Boyer talking over top of people, because that's my. I think Clint Boyer tries really too hard. Honestly, I don't think it's a lack of effort. I think it's too much effort. I think he needs to actually dial it back a little bit. Napa Racing fan, Team Penske was hardly noticeable today. Logano got finished by strategy call. Yeah, for sure. The rest of the Penske cars were absolutely terrible. Blaney almost had a strategy call where he was going to steal a good finish too, but then they wrecked him like 3 times or 2. They wrecked him, honestly, 2 times at the end of the race. Within the last 10 laps, I want to say he got wrecked twice. Todd Gilliland, once again, outperformed Zane Smith in his car with Rick Ware equipment. Yeah, so don't sleep on Todd Gilliland. He used last year to learn this car, and he really has done the deal, no doubt about it. He's figured it out, and he's had a much better season this year. I love the 1999 Sonoma with Earnhardt versus Martin. Yeah, that was a really good one. Like I said, Mark Martin used to be a road course. I said that on the other live stream, I should say. Mark Martin used to be a road course ace as well. Not a lot of people remember that. I'm kind of upset at HMS for not running up front against Truex and Busch. Maybe that tire caution ruined nearly everyone. I just think the Toyotas had it figured out. Like, they just had the better strategy for this racetrack, and nobody was really touching them once they got clean air, especially the 19. They could swap the carousel every other year to mix it up, says one wise guy. That might be something. That way you can't just sim this every year and one guy has the setup for eternity, forever and ever. That would definitely help. Yep, Logano does that every week. Doesn't have a winning setup. He makes sure to be in the top 10 at the end. That's why he has 2 championships, says E. Damon. I mean, that's a fair point. Jensen Button, thank you. Thank you, Joshua. Jensen Button was the fastest in the 56. Yeah, thank you very much. I could. His name just jumped out of my head today for some reason. Woohoo, Truex, says Shy. Yep, Truex got it done. It was actually absolutely clinical. He put it on him today. Clint must get paid by the word on these broadcasts, says A-Ben. He certainly acts like it. There's no doubt about that. Chrome Diesel saying, Napa fan, I seen replays of the 95 Sonoma race. It was a interesting race as Earnhardt caught up to Martin. My favorite finished third. This car continues to disappoint at road courses, says Ryan Fussner. I don't think there's anything you can really do. Sonoma's just that type of track that is so long and it's got so many long stretches that if you figure out the set, I don't think there's anything you can do with a car at Sonoma. If you watch any other races at Sonoma, pretty much the leader is always checked out in pretty much any other series. I think Harvick with McMurray would be better. A lot of people are calling for McMurray, Napa Race fan. Clint tries to be too much of a character as opposed to an analyst. Yeah, that's another one of my complaints. He feels like he's like trapped into being this goofy character. So I do agree with that. I think DW for most of his broadcasting career balanced it well. Yeah, and maybe Clint Boyer learns how to do that, because I feel like right now Clint Boyer is just trying too hard to be a character. He wants Fox, like he feels like Fox is paying him to be a character and not just being himself, I guess is the best way of saying that. I'm just getting flashbacks of the oil commercial where miniature Clint was being Clint and miniature Kevin was pitching the commercial. So say Kyle, not Kyle. That might be, that'll definitely be a meme when that becomes the booth. There's no doubt about that. T-Van says, thank you, everyone. I've been on this channel long enough to consider some of you friends or family. So that's why I shared it. I appreciate it, T-Van. And I hate that I missed it. I don't know why I missed it, but I hate that I missed it earlier. Man, but that's terrible. And anytime anybody's got something like that, feel free to talk about it here. Like that type of stuff. We'll talk about that too. Because as far as that goes, it doesn't have to just be about racing, but real life sometimes supersedes. Napa Racing fans say in 1995 Sonoma is my favorite Sonoma race. It was a great race, but my favorite driver of all time got his lone road course win, says Napa Racing fans. So there you go. I think that was Dale Sr., if I'm not mistaken. I really like no stop for stages. How can that not work for all races, says Shah. Yeah, I think the stage cautions are slowly going the way of the landline. Hopefully they will be gone for NASCAR in the future, because hopefully NASCAR gets enough good feedback about that. The stage cautions are just not good. Sonoma Raceway or Truex Raceway, says Napa Racing fan. Well, today it was definitely Truex Raceway, without question. Truex point. Martin's Point or whatever. Martin's Point, not good. E-Damon Racing, Clint needs to get back to who he is. Funny, entertaining guy we all like. He's trying too hard to be a straight man, says E-Damon Racing. Yeah, he just needs to be himself. I agree with that. Let's go back to 2 road courses. Coda is my home track, but I'm kind of over them, says Gojo. I'm a Clint fan, but he does get excited at times, says one wise guy. Yeah, I like Clint too, but I think he just tries too hard. Clint is Fox's Rutledge Wood. Yeah, so Rutledge Wood catches a lot of flack too, which I don't get. I feel like he adds stuff. Sometimes they overuse him. The reason why people turned on Rutledge Wood is because they went to him like 4,000 times when he was at the Dawsonville pool room, and Chase Elliott ends up winning the race. So at the end of the race, they had to go to him 2 or 3 more times. So it was that was on the direction on that particular race. Clint Boyer plays the local yokel, and everyone makes fun of him as a local yokel. That pisses me off, says Shaw. I understand. Sonoma will always be Sears Point to me, says one wise guy. Same here. I always remember at Sears Point, and always remember the big calendars. That was always the race that they got the car jumping sideways off the curbing. Bugatti, boogity boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Dale will trip and should start. Darrell Waltrip should start all races, even if they have to record the voice. I agree with you, E. Damon. I miss the old boogity boogity boogity, especially on Fox. Maybe Clint had too much 5-hour energy, says Napa Race fan. Could be still lodged in his system. Wow, voice dictation sucks, says E. Damon. Yeah, it gets everybody. Don't worry about it. How long was Harvick and Boyer teammates in total? RCR plus SHR. Oh man, probably at least 12 or 13 years. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. I'd say somewhere around 12 or 13. Let's see. Chrome Diesel, Napa Racing fan, is quite. Earnhardt never was great at road course racing, but he kind of had a good streak of running well at road courses during the 90s. Yeah, I think Chrome Diesel. I think it just bothered him that he didn't have a road course win, so he just focused on it for a little while, and then when he got his road course wins, he went back to being sort of whatever about him. Yeah, that's just the way I looked at it. But then he did some road coursing later in his career with the Corvette team. So it might have been something that he got the road course racing bug at some point in his life. Maybe because he had won at that point at every racetrack just about on the NASCAR circuit, except maybe 1 or 2. He sort of was like Kyle Busch, where Kyle Busch has won on every track, and then they introduced some new tracks. I like Clint, but I'd rather see Rutledge in the booth. I love Rutledge, says T Van. I like Rutledge too. So, but I don't know if I don't know if he'll even be part of the NBC broadcast because he's got so much other stuff going on with like hosting TV shows and stuff like that. So we'll have to see. No stage cautions will bring out pit strategy with this belly button car. It's the only move teams have, in my opinion. Yeah, well, I think stage cautions are just bad. No matter what the car is, they just need to get rid of stage cautions. Keep the stages if they want to, but the stage cautions, they just ruin all the strategy and all the fun of the race, really. I wish they would go put Kyle Petty in the booth. He is great, says Gojo. Yeah, Kyle Petty definitely has an opinion a minute. So he would probably be pretty good in the booth. I like Clint a lot, says Shaw. Get rid of stage cautions. But the teasing bugs me, says Shaw. Chrome Diesel, besides Sonoma and Sears Point, there was Infineon Raceway. Yeah, I never even called it that. I remember the first time I saw Infineon Raceway on the schedule, I had to look it up, and then it took it to Sears Point, and I was like, oh, they renamed it Infineon. They renamed Sears Point Infineon. I was like, whatever. Yeah, but I do remember when it was sponsored by Infineon, but I still just called it Sears Point. It could be a personal issue, says Shaw. Where did Enfinger finish? I've been a little busy today, says T-Van. Enfinger was back there pretty far. They just, once again, the Legacy Motor Club equipment, motorsports, Legacy Motor Club equipment was not good. He was close to the back. Denny Hamlin bailed him out, but he finished bottom 5, I want to say. I can let me pull that up real quick because I can actually I forgot I actually have it pulled up. Let's see here. Grant, he made a run there at the end. I don't know if he did some type of strategy, but he got all the way up to 26th at the very end. So he actually outran Eric Jones because Eric Jones had that wreck there at the end. But before that, the highest I saw Eric Jones was 25th. So with his 26th place finish, which is the only thing I can really compare him to, he matched his teammate Eric Jones. So I think he did fairly solid. I think the cars are just off. Obviously, they're not getting any Chevrolet support. They showed a flashback to Truex's 2013 Sonoma win with Michael Waltrip Racing in the number 56 Napa Camry, which was an awesome ride. I immediately thought of Napa Know How. Yeah, those were good commercials back in the day. Now, I don't think you even hardly see a Napa Chase Elliott commercial that I can think of. They're all just these hokey, like, oh, Napa Auto Parts. They don't even have the driver in them anymore. So it is what it is. Ryan Fussner says no stage cautions, says Napa Racing Fan. Infineon was a horrible name, says one wise guy. I agree. Infinger somehow finished 26, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, I was looking at that too because I don't think I saw him above the 30s all day. So he found something there at the very end. He must have went in there and got new tires at the very end or something. I don't know what happened. How about Eric winning in a Siege car, in the Sieg car? That team needed a win. Chris the Dude Nurse. Yeah, without a doubt. That was a huge win. I talked about it on the first one, so we do need to talk about it here because definitely different audiences. That was a huge win for the entire Sieg group. Huge win for Eric Almirola because it is a massive upset to me. And I know the car was prepared by Stuart Haas, but it's still a Sieg Motorsports car. So, like, what's awesome about that is that, to me, that is how if you run in the Cup Series, that's how you should do it when you go down to the Xfinity Series. You should run normal equipment. You shouldn't take this King Kong, super awesome Hendrick or Joe Gibbs racing equipment because we already know you're good. That's why you're in the Cup Series. Come down here and race regular equipment in the Xfinity Series. That's what made it interesting back in the day. Dale Earnhardt had his own team. He wasn't running Richard Childress equipment. Harry Gant was running the Mannheim number 7. He wasn't running, Leo Jackson equipment or Burt Reynolds equipment, depending on who he was driving for that year. That's what made the Xfinity Series / Busch Series / Nationwide Series interesting back in the day, is because the really good Cup drivers would come down and drive regular equipment, with the exception of Mark Martin. And you can ask anybody that drive back then, when the number 60 Roush Racing Winn-Dixie Ford showed up, you knew you were racing for second place. Eric Almirola winning was the number 1 biggest underdog wins I've seen, says Napa Racing Fan. It's up there. I would say Justin Haley winning at Talladega would have to be up there too. And probably some other ones I got to think of. Fox never mentioned a word about Infinger's debut. That sucks. The producer and the camera directors of Fox need to be fired. They definitely need better direction, in my opinion. Alexandre says, what's up, bro? Alex B here from Brazil. Go 8. Yeah, he had a good run. Almost. He was real close. What's up, Brazil? Also, by the way, Alex from Brazil. Always good to have you guys on here as well. E. Damon Racing, so much for KB rubbing off on Dylan. Talk about a team of polar opposites. Dylan should be much better at this point, says E. Damon. I think he got like a good finish though. Hold on, let me look where he finished here. Because I was surprised because he had that wreck early on. And where did he end up finishing? Yeah, he recovered to 19th. So he had that wreck where he I don't know, I guess he ran across Ty Gibbs and caught the car, but he did recover to 19th. Didn't mean to say, but yeah, he's not Kyle Busch. Like he's not going to be Kyle Busch. There's no doubt about that. Let's see. I didn't mean to send proposing a road broadcast trio, Kenny Wallace, Kyle Petty, Jeremy Mayfield, and Matt DiBenedetto as pit reporter. Probably wouldn't last long, but should be entertaining. It would definitely be entertaining. And like you said, I don't know how long it would stay on TV, but it would be that would be a rogue squad for sure. Since Eric won on Sunday or Saturday, do you think he'll have second thoughts about retiring? Says one wise guy. Yeah, we still don't know if he's going to retire or not, so I don't know. Austin Dillon is Austin Dillon, decent driver, but not great, and he knows it, says Shot. Yeah. So I think that's about where he's at. He's a pretty good driver. He's probably better. I'll put him in the top 15 to top 12 of drivers, but I wouldn't put him one notch above 15th or 12th. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely the 12th best guy, but there's a big jump from the top 5 guys to the 6 through 12, in my opinion. So and Kyle Busch is one of those top 5 guys. So when you see a top 5 guy paired with a top 12 guy, like you just see that big difference, like in my opinion. So that's to me, Austin Dillon is going to be really consistent. He's going to get you a lot of. He's had a lot of DNFs this year, but typically Austin Dillon is super consistent, shows up and gets you a top 12, top 10 at the very end. And every once in a while, he's going to win you a race. I want to say the Fox producer is in her first year with Fox. Yeah, so maybe she needs to brush up. Maybe she needs to take the entire time the NBC is covering their stuff and just look at how they do their camera work, because that's really where they're struggling, is the camera work, in my opinion. Trevor Bayne winning 20. That's a good one too. 2011 Daytona 500 is probably my number one underdog win of all time. After he won, I was like, who is Trevor Bayne? Fox even had a special about him winning it the next Saturday. Yeah, so put Derek Cope in that as well. I guess Derek Cope would have to be mentioned in that same breath. Austin Dillon has too many irons in the fire. He needs to focus on his real job. That's him and Haley Deegan get that a lot too. They need to focus on racing and not everything else going on. Close poll says one wise guy. Yeah, so if you want to vote on the poll, I'll leave it up there a couple more minutes. I think Eric Almirola should race full time in that 28 car in the Xfinity Series. I don't know. Maybe part time though. Kyle Sieg needs to get some seat time too. So I don't know. Stephen Emilio Jr. says, I knew when Kyle went to RCR, it was going to show how average he is at best. Like I said, I think he's slightly above average. So that's where I stand on it. But that being said, like, of the free agents, who could you get to replace him really? So I don't know. Austin Hill maybe as a rookie. But I think they're going to put Austin Hill in that 77 at some point, or they'll figure out a way to get him in the RCR equipment somehow, some way, because I think they do believe in Austin Hill. Eric Almirola may have second thoughts of retiring this year. I think he's done in 2024, though. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Eric Almirola does. E-Damon Racing, amazing how much better no stage cautions are. Totally different race, agreed. The stage cautions on all tracks have to go, agreed. It's like watching three separate races, agreed. Duke Chronic, race was okay, like old days. I hate road races, says Duke Chronic. So, hey, so there you go. Some people just don't like road racing. Better driver, Austin Dillon or Eric Almirola? Flip a coin. I would say Austin Dillon personally, just because he's got the same amount of wins on different types of tracks. In a shorter career, Eric Almirola has about the same amount of wins, but he's had a longer career. So I just go off numbers on that one. But I think you could probably look at it, and probably Eric Almirola has more. Well, I don't know, because Austin Dillon, I feel like, has made the playoffs more times than Eric Almirola too. So I would give a slight advantage to Austin Dillon, but it's really close. I really think they're pretty much the same type of driver. I think they're almost the exact same type of driver. Howdy from Kazakhstan. They're younger than me. There's a lot of old guys. I knew Truex was going to win when he blew by Joey and Ross. Yeah, once he got the lead, I was like, man, he's going to be tough, because I thought Denny might have had the same type of car, but I don't know if Denny could have passed him. It was also an absolutely clinical pass that he put on Denny Hamlin to take the lead early on in the race too. That was a very precise. That's about as clean and as perfect a pass as I've ever seen on a road course. Fox is Fox is over, so I hope NBC is good and not too much Peacock stuff, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, that's I'm hopeful on that too. Derek Cope winning was Dale Sr. hit a seagull race in 1990, Daytona 500, says Napa. Yeah, and that's what made it an upset, because even the race he won, he shouldn't have won, right? So I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's a huge upset. Lord Boyer says look at the time pylon instead of instantly. TV coverage removes the pylon. Would be nice if the coverage matches what the commentators are saying. Yeah, and there was a couple times where Mike Joy set up some stuff and they didn't pay attention to what he was saying, and they never cut to it. One wise guy says, what's Johnson's next race? I don't know. The only one I know for sure is going to be Van Gisbergen at Chicago. That's the only Project 91, or whatever those cars, whatever you want to call those cars, one-off cars, ringer cars. That's the next ringer car that I can remember. There are rumors that Montreal is trying to get a race, says RJ. And they're probably going to take the Chicago race, but I doubt they're going to get the Chicago date, because that is like a July 4th. So they'll probably swap the dates, but they'll probably get the Chicago race. Napa Race Fan, Chicago is for Jimmy Johnson. So Jimmy Johnson will be in Chicago. I didn't remember that. I probably knew it, but didn't remember it. Thanks, Napa Racing Fan, says Wise Guy. Under the Winston Cup system, Truex takes the lead, 14 points behind is Kyle Busch. 59 points behind is Blaney. Chris the Dude Nurse says, I think Eric is better. You have to remember he spent a long time in that 43. That's true. That's a very fair statement. When he was in the back of the pack team, so that is a fair statement. No doubt about that. Who's on the playoff bubble right now? Says one wise guy. Oh, that was I did just read that. I think I still got it pulled up. I know Bowman is the last one in. Yeah, Bowman's the last one in. Daniel Suarez is the first one out. Ty Gibbs is after him. Michael McDowell after him. AJ Allmendinger after him. So those are your top. That's 16 to 20 right there. Then Cindric and Corey LaJoy. They're going to need wins to get in. But Allmendinger, McDowell, Gibbs, and Suarez look like they could all possibly catch Alex Bowman or whoever's in 16th. If they get their act together and make a run here toward the end of the year. The Camaro finished the Le Mans race. Unbelievable. Yeah, that was really cool. Mark, not only that, they finished in like 38th or 39th, so it wasn't a bad showing. If they hadn't had the transaxle break, they probably would have had a really, really good finish. Probably would have been mid-20s, I'm imagining. Jimmy Johnson is running Chicago, says Gojo. One wise guy, Bowman, good on 3 points. Suarez behind the cutoff by 3. Yeah, so like I said, it's really tight from 16 to 20. Then after that, once you get to Cindric, you sort of get into win or go home territory. I'd say the race was okay, says RJ. Fox's graphics are awful too. I don't know what's worse, them having difficulties with the leaderboard or the cartoon character drivers. Definitely, to me, is the most irritating. But yeah, the leaderboard should definitely always be right. Montreal drivers are nuts. They don't stop for stop signs, says Robin Marks. Who won the race today, says Dawson Fair. That would be Martin Truex Jr. Corvette winning Le Mans, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, in the last time GTLE, I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it's the last time they're going to have that. It's going to be named something, or there's going to be a different class next year. Bowman is +3 on the cut line. Chase got some points today, 81 back, I think, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, so he's actually back in the mix to where he could sort of point his way in too. So he's another one. Chase is the one exception because we know he's got top 10 speed. So he's another one that could sort of point his way in. Am I one wise girl, says RJ Bansma. When they throw a yellow, is there a minimum number of caution laps mandatory? I don't know about a road course. I know on a circle track, you got to have one. You got to have one to clean the track up, one for them to pit, and one for the lap down cars to pit. So that's like at least it's going to be at least 3 laps on a circle track, and then usually 1 lap to collect everybody, and then 1 lap for miscellaneous nonsense. So it's usually about 5. It's usually about at least 5 to 10 laps, and then you've got the quickie caution. So it just depends. That 1995 Sonoma race was the first full race I watched. Watched with my dad and became an Earnhardt fan because he held the steering wheel up in victory lane after he beat Mark through the carousel. That's pretty cool. Could be, RJ says one wise guy. Garage 56 finished 39th, so I was 1 spot off. He's 39th. I thought he was 38th. What's with the Fords this year? Their nose is messed. They have a disadvantage on their nose. It's like they took a step back from 2022. Yeah, so their nose in the wind tunnel is a little bit off compared to the Camaros and the Camrys. Late to the show, I only saw the part of the race. Pool tourney was more interesting, says Mark Barnum. Do they race next week or not? Next week is an off week, Dawson Fair. Napa Racing Fan saying no, next week is an off week. The Cheating Vet won the GT amateur class with a factory, says Mark Langren. So he is anti-Corvette. He is a Porsche man, if I remember correctly. Matt Tomon says, I love that did not those stupid. They did not have those stupid stage breaks. The stage breaks I think are universally hated by everybody except the TV partners. I still think Chase can point his way in, says Steven D'Amelio Jr. I agree with that. At this point, if he had a bad race here, I would be like he needs a win or go to get in. But I think with a good race here, that opens that window for him. Should Ford redesign their nose? Says RJ. I think they're going to redesign it next year anyway because they're going to a different Mustang, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know that they would do it this year just because there would be a lot of resources for very little gain. When's SRX starting? It should start pretty soon. I think it starts. Is it next week? this week coming up. I think it's either this week coming up or the next week. Ford has a new Mustang in 2024, July. Wise guy, so 2 weeks from now. Did Garage 2 weeks from now, starts in July. The SRX does. Sorry. Duke Chronic said, did the Garage 56 make a lot of people interested from North America like Ford versus Ferrari movie did? I think it got a lot of NASCAR fans interested in it. I feel like it's been talked about more by NASCAR fans than it's ever been talked about before. So I do think they accomplished something there. Chase Elliott is minus 84, plus 14 today, was minus 98. So there you go. He gained 14 points on 16th place. Chase won't need to point in. He'll get a win, says E. Damon. I mean, that's also highly likely. They'll be going to the S650 Mustang, says RJ. And we never heard anything about the wind tunnel results when NASCAR brought all three makes. So yeah, the Mustang, we didn't hear, I guess, exact numbers, but everybody did say after they did the wind tunnel thing that Ford is off on downforce with their nose. So that they did acknowledge that. My home track is Pocono, caution prone. It's a strategy track. NASCAR needs to try no stage breaks there. I agree with you, Chrome Diesel, 100%. SRX is in July, says Napa Racing Fan. I like Shane Van Gisbergen running the Chicago Street Course in a few weeks. Yeah, hopefully he can make some noise. He'll be in good equipment, and hopefully he can get the job done down there. Should the SRX race at North Wilkesboro next year, I think it's definitely on the table for them to do it. BB is a heck of a speed reader. Plus all the typos he's got to overcome, says E. Damon. I do my best. I'm not good at spelling myself, so maybe that's why I can read some of the typos. When is IndyCar's next race at? That I couldn't tell you. David Land is the man when it comes to IndyCar stuff. I am far from an expert on IndyCar. I just pull for Scott Dixon and let it roll. SRX first race at Stafford is Thursday, July 13th, I believe, says Napa Racing Fan. So July 13th is going to be the SRX race. Dawson is Road America. So Road America for the IndyCar is going to be the next one. And we'll stay on here for a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to hop off. Chrome Diesel says, I'm worried about the 90-degree turns at Chicago. Well, I'm worried with you. I think some people are going to get cleared out there without question. I think some people are just going to flat get mowed over, especially early in the race when people aren't used to the brakes and stuff like that. And also, especially later in the race when people are irritated with each other, they're just gonna go in full yeet mode. If their tempers flare up, I know it's probably going to be a hot day, so that's not going to help with tempers either. IndyCar is at Road America next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on USA. So there you go. Next Sunday is going to be Road America. Mark Langren with the thumbs up. Dawson Fair, do you like drinking water? I hate drinking water, but you have to do it, especially the older you get. Do you ever meet and greet at a race, says Chris the Dude Nurse? Yeah, every time I go to the racetrack, I try to hang around the merchandise haulers and stuff like that. And I do walk around, and anybody that walks up, I talk to them. I don't have like I don't have a big enough following to where I'm like, hey, I'll be here from here to here. But I usually walk around, and I'm pretty recognizable. I feel like so. Yeah, I do. I guess in the future I can get better at. I'll be at this place at this time. So we'll try that, I guess, going forward. Everyone have a great work week, and again, my condolences, T-Van. Yeah, without a doubt, T-Van. Hope you get through that as good as possible. That's a tough situation. If Fox was smart, they'd pick up SRX on FS1 and challenge NASCAR for viewership or another network. It'll be way more popular drivers, and great short track racing as well. ESPN has the SRX, so I feel like ESPN is going to push it pretty hard. So we'll see how far the SRX goes this year. What up with these stupid stage caution breaks, says Dawson Fair. Well, we didn't have them today, so hopefully NASCAR gets the message and gets rid of them at all the tracks. Let's see. You need to come out to Sonoma. Sonoma's on my list. I've got to get it organized where I can make it out there one year. But Sonoma's definitely on my list. It's one of my favorite tracks, just specifically for those old posters and big old calendars back before smartphones. Calendars were important. there was always a big Winston Cup calendar, and all the really cool pictures were from Sonoma, where they were hitting the curb and the cars were up off the air, up off the ground in the air. It was a really cool look. Kidney stones can be painful, says Mark Langren, talking about that's why I drink water. Is there such a thing as a hobo ninja? There would be. If he could afford, he would be a ninja, says RJ. That's I know it. I got you. Take care, all. Chase Elliott misses the chase, and Jimmy Johnson sucks. And before I sign off, let me end this poll because I forgot to end the poll last time. Are you going to Michigan International Speedway? Says Dawson Fair. I'm going to go there 1 year. I do plan on it, but it won't be this year. But yeah, that is definitely another one on the list. BB for the win. Thanks for the late night chats. West Coast really appreciates it. I appreciate you too, E. Damon. And with that one, that is going to be the last one. You guys take it easy. Have fun at work tomorrow. I know I won't. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.